couple years down the road, you awake to a harsh alarm that gets you up at 7 a.m. You've been in this routine now for several years, so it's nothing nothing out of the ordinary, but you just can't help hating the first 5 seconds of every day, just being ripped out of your sleep by this, you know.
Yeah. Dang.
But that's what you got to do, right? It's just it's what your life requires.
It's just those first 5 seconds. Everything after that is kind of normal.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
the act of being ripped from slumber. That's really like the part that is hard and sucks for you.
Okay.
But once you're up, you're usually pretty good, you know. You get out of your bed, you go into your kitchen, put a pan over a flame on your range, you get out the eggs, throw a couple pieces of bread in the toaster, you yell to the other room, uh, you yell, Carly, wake up, time to get up.
Harley.
Yeah, Carly is your 12-year-old daughter.
Oh shit.
And
Oh no.
you're making breakfast before school. It's tough being a single parent, but you do it,
Oh
you
no.
know.
Oh my. How did this
And
happen?
and you've been doing it for a while now.
All right.
So yeah, you've like raised Carly on your own. You're up making breakfast, right? She is like your focus. She is the center of your universe.
Yeah.
She's bright, she's curious, she's articulate, she loves to read, she loves being outdoors, she likes looking at bugs. She's just like a curious, fun, weird kid.
Cool.
Marches to the beat of her own drum.
What happened to the mom?
She left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's got tired of your shit.
What do you mean?
She just got tired of your shit and she
What
left.
did I do? How did I drive her away?
That's like a whole thing you'd have to talk to her about. I don't really, I just, all I know
Oh
is
jeez.
she told everybody that she just got tired of your shit and she left. And yeah, people like look down on her big time for that.
Yeah.
Like your whole group of friends, your community just immediately like pass judgment on her.
Yeah.
And
Well,
rightfully so. She left you with an infant child to raise on your own.
okay.
And that's just what you've done. And you've been a damn good parent. You've done everything the best you can. You always have Harley's best interest in mind.
God, I must be in so much debt.
Actually, no, you're really not. Like
Oh.
your wife sends child support
Oh, okay.
and he has like a pretty good job. So there's like no
Oh,
contact. There's like no contact or anything. You don't
okay.
talk. She doesn't talk to Carly. She only supports financially, you know.
It's a bummer.
It's a real bummer. And it's led you to like lead a life of solitude, kind of. It's a thing like when it happened. So she gave birth on 9/11. So she gave birth to Carly on 9/11, and by 9/14 she had already moved out of the house. She was
You
she
recovered that quickly?
yeah. I mean,
Birth? Wow. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a couple years down the road, so there's some advancements in medical technology, but it's already like fast as fuck. People
Wow.
aren't
Okay.
spending like weeks in the hospital anymore unless there's like an issue, So yeah, she was moved out by the fucking weekend. She left you a note.
Jeez.
It said, Pat, these last 9 months have been a torture chamber for me.
Oh God.
She says, I've been trapped. And now that uh, the baby has been born, I feel that it's time for me to go. She goes, frankly, I've just been really tired of your shit.
Oh no.
She says, don't contact me unless you move, so I can update where my check is gonna go to. That's the only responsibility I have from this point forward. All the
Oh man.
best. Yeah,
All the best.
yeah,
Um, yeah, man, that's so haunting. Trapped. So she's trapped and then she fled.
yeah.
Man, not good.
And you had like just finished reading I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and it just really
What?
like wrecked you on an emotional level. So, she leaves, right? You got little
Ah!
Carly to take care of. And like I said, you do. You
Hmm.
man up.
Okay.
You get your shit together in a sense that you are the sole provider for this infant child. Yeah, you have help from family and friends and your community, but you are a single parent. And so here you are, uh making, you call them dad's famous scrambled eggs.
Why are
It's
they so
just like
famous?
it's just scrambled eggs. You put a little bit of milk in it. You add some cheese in. It's like really straightforward.
Okay.
She rolls her eyes, right?
I
You go,
fuck,
hey, I
dude.
got.
I fucking bet.
You go, I got toast in the toaster. Can you put two pieces in when the first comes out? She goes, yeah. So she waits by the toaster. Two fresh Arctic white pieces of bread in her hand, just waiting for the two that are in there to come up with the golden crust. And she says, oh, parent teacher conferences are tonight. You kind of look at her, you're like, I'm just now finding out about this. She's like, sorry, and she's like, I was busy and you're working. So you're like, what time? She says, they go from 5 until 8. You go, okay, I'll be there. So you finish cooking breakfast, you sit down over your dinner table, you eat together, you watch her as she gets on the school bus and goes to school. And you kind of get through the day, right? You wind up going to the parent teacher conference at night, you know, and Carly was like kind of already there hanging out with friends. Their kids just hanging out, waiting for their parents to show up. And she kind of like runs up to you and she goes, okay, she goes, we're gonna see Mrs. Delaware, my English teacher. And she says, full disclosure, I have a B. And you kind of like look at her and you're like, I know, you're like disappointed a little bit because she's a usually straight A student.
Oh, okay. I'm
But you kind of like,
disappointed. Like that. I'm that. Yeah.
well,
All
I
right.
mean, just like a little bit, you're like, she's like English is like her thing, it's about reading and it's about performance. It's just this thing that she should be doing really well in. You're like, why aren't you?
But I hate
She admittedly,
grades.
yeah, she has a little trouble like turning homework in and she's a little flighty and probably has some sort of attention deficit disorder going on,
How
whatever.
come we're not looking into this?
Well, it's something that's been like popping up. This is a newer development.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
She goes, after that, we're gonna see Mr. Melching. He's my math teacher. He goes, nothing to worry about there. She goes, and then the only other teacher I have that's here is Mrs. or sorry, Miss uh Carlos.
Miss
And it's a
Carlos.
yeah, she's my biology teacher.
Wonderful.
She goes, she's really cute. And she kind of like looks at you.
What the hell?
You're like, what? And she goes, oh, nothing. And she just kind of like runs along. So you meet her English teacher and he's like, look, Carly is so smart and she's so talented and like a really gifted student. She just doesn't apply herself. And she has she sometimes she's off in la la land. She's daydreaming. She's drawing instead of listening. And she's like, this kind of thing happens around this age. You know, but rest assured, like you're raising like a very smart, tough, independent young lady.
That's cool.
You meet her math teacher. He's like, never have any complaints. She gets her work done on time. She's a treasure to be around. All the other kids like her. She's one of my favorite students.
Oh, thanks, man.
He's like, yeah, we tried to get her to join math club, but no luck.
Not a
You kind of
thing.
laugh. Yeah. You go to meet the biology teacher, Miss Carlos. Carly kind of like walks in with you and she's like, hi, Miss Carlos. And Miss Carlos is like, hi, Carly. Like it's just a little game they have together.
Sure.
She goes, this is my dad, Pat. And she says, Pat, this is Miss Carlos. You
Hello.
guys shake. You spend like almost an hour talking to Miss Carlos.
Oh man. Yeah.
At some point, Carly is there and then she leaves and she comes back, and she's like, Dad, can we go home? And you're like, oh, just a couple more minutes. You and Miss Carlos like really hit it off.
All right.
And kind of in a way that like you haven't felt in a long time. You've kind of shut yourself off from that sort of interaction
It's highly
after
inappropriate.
everything happened. So you're talking to Miss Carlos. She you're talking about like the biology class, like what are you guys doing? And you're talking about, oh, when I was in school, this is what we did. You go, are you guys dissecting anything? And she goes, oh, I wish. She goes, but the district couldn't afford the frogs.
I wish.
Yeah. You're like, they couldn't afford the frogs, and you're like, right? I know. Apparently there's a frog shortage. And you tell her, man, not at my house. And they go, not at the back of Terrywood Glen.
Oh,
There's a pond behind your house, and there are so many frogs on it that it almost keeps you up at night.
really?
Yeah. You had a retaining wall built just as like a sound barrier. Like it's pretty intense. And Miss Carlos looks at you with big brown doe eyes.
Oh my God.
And she says, Pat, could you get me like 15 frogs?
Ah, yeah.
She goes, wait, seriously? You're like willing to do that for me?
Oh my God. Yeah, I would do it for the yeah, do it for the class for sure. Yes.
And she kind of like blushes a little bit.
There's so
And
many
she
of them.
and she's like, yeah, for the class. Carly comes back in and as you guys like, she's like, come on, Dad, we gotta go. And as she like kind of pulls you out of the room, Miss Carlos goes, just have Carly tell me when you'll be by with those frogs, and I'll be here so you can drop them off.
Okay.
So that night, you go out into the pond out back at Terrywood Glen.
I would probably make Carly come with me and help me.
You ask her to help you, but she's like, gross. I don't want to go to that stinky pond. She goes,
Come on.
besides, you're the one that likes her, not me.
Come on.
At that moment, there was a TV show on, and you just hear from the TV, you hear, "Ooh, hoo, hoo." Carly smiles, content, goes back to her homework.
Ah, God damn it, Carly.
So you grab you're like, whatever, I'm gonna do this myself. You put on a pair of dish gloves, you grab a bucket, you grab a net from the garage. You got a pair of like waders, you know.
Yeah.
You go out there, you start sloshing around. You got a little headlamp on. It takes you a little while.
That's
It
cool.
takes you it takes you maybe an hour, but you manage to snag 15 really good sized frogs. You put a lid on the bucket, you drill some holes in it so there's oxygen. You leave the bucket outside because it's just like croak, croak, croak. It's just so many croaks going on at once, right?
Sorry, fellas.
You tell Carly the next morning as you're cooking eggs. She's standing by the toaster waiting to put in the fresh pieces. You say, "Oh, hey, tell Miss Carlos that I got the frogs she was asking for, and I'll bring them by today at 5 p.m." She kind of like just salutes you. She's like, "Okay." You get a text from Carly later in the day that says, Miss Carlos said, "Come on by at 5 p.m." and you she says you know where her room is.
What?
Yeah. five
Oh
o'clock rolls
man.
around.
This
You get in
is
your car.
bad fucking news. I think I would call somebody.
What do you mean?
Because what do you think I mean? This is not good. This is I can't fall in love with my kid's teacher. That's so we get in so much trouble.
I mean, I don't know. Would you?
I
I don't
think I
know.
already am. I think I already am.
You spent an hour in a mosquito filled pond picking up over a dozen frogs for this woman in the dead of night.
Yeah, I mean this is
So
it's so insane.
you've got a bucket in your passenger seat. It's strapped in. It's just croak, 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 croak. It's so fucking loud, right? It's so loud.
Whatever.
You can't even turn the radio up to drown it out.
Oh my God. That's so fucking loud, Aaron.
You pull up to the school. You get out, close your car. You go to like a just one of the doors. It's open. Croak, 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 just bouncing off the fucking tile. You have this bucket in your hand. You go up to the second floor through the stairwell.
That is the
Croaks just
creepiest
bouncing
fucking
along the walls.
thing in the world. That is so creepy, Aaron. The
15
croaks
adult frogs
echoing.
simultaneously croaking, just bouncing off tile in fear for their lives. They were at a pond until a man yanked them out of there in the middle of the night, and now they're in a bucket with 14 of their brethren.
Yeah.
They're just crying out for their mothers.
Well, all right.
So you're walking down this hallway, right? You see your door, Miss Carlos. You grab the handle and the croaking stops. You think, oh, that's weird. You go inside her you go inside her classroom. You see that written on the chalkboard it says, "Be right back," and then a little heart and
Oh
Miss
man.
Carlos. So
What
you
is
like
happening?
you walk up to the chalkboard, right? There's a piece of chalk on the ledger there. Do you write anything on there?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I write, okay, cool.
You lean in, and the moment that your chalk touches that chalkboard, it's almost like it isn't really there. You sort of shift forward to write something and you fall through the chalkboard
Oh, no.
and you hear croak, 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 just that so the croak starts up again. And you look and it's like you're in the same place where you were, just put kind of like in a mirror, in a mirrored sense, and everything
What?
is covered in chalk dust. Like somebody's been clapping erasers over the top of everything that you can see.
Yeah.
You look back, you kind of like bang on the chalkboard and it's solid, it's sturdy. There's no
Can I
note on it.
see? Can I see through it to the
No.
other? Okay.
You've made it onto the other side of the chalkboard.
Yeah. Fuck. All right. Well, I put the first thing I do is I put the frogs down, and I don't even think about them anymore because I'm losing my mind. Does everything look normal? Is it like dark or scary or anything?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like it's not as well lit, you know.
Oh no.
And again, it's just that like everything is a little dull, you know. There's not as much shine on things. There's not as much light coming out of the bulbs. Everything has a fuzz or a haze or is just covered in that fucking chalk dust.
Okay. I guess I look around.
You look around, you're in Miss Carlos's room, but just sort of again, sort of like from a mirrored perspective,
Okay.
you know. What do you do?
I mean, is there anyone in there?
No.
I guess I just stand there. I just kind of stand there and just go, well, what the hell's gonna happen next? I just wait to see if like anyone walks in or anything like that.
You stand there in the almost deafening cacophony of frog croaks. Croak, 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 croak. Just that bucket just a couple of feet away from you. You're just standing there and it's so loud, you know, and it's piercing the thickness of the air. That's how loud it is.
Then I go stand in the hallway.
You go stand in the hallway, you can still hear the sound, right? You kind of like walk out, you take a left, and you look down the hallway, and you swear you see something move at like the intersection of the other hallway, almost like something was like taking a left hand turn.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like a wet slap on the tile.
Okay.
What do you do?
Man, I just stand there and I just lean against the wall and I wait for something to happen to me, to be honest with you. I think that's what I do. I'm so weirded out by this that I just stand there and I just wait.
So you're standing there back against the wall.
I don't know what the law of the land is, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what's
You see the light coming in through the windows, just like beams of light from like a street lamp overhead. You run your hand through it, you can just see the chalk dust in the air, and
yeah.
you hear just the croak, 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 croak. You just hear it echoing off the fucking walls of the classroom behind you.
God, I hate that so much.
From somewhere deeper inside the building, you hear croak, like a deep window rattling croak.
Window rattling?
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then the croaking stops from the classroom behind you. You hear a wet whap on the tile. You see shadows shifting at the end of the hall.
Oh man.
Something large is coming. You were standing against the wall with like one leg propped up on it, looking all cool, you know. And then
Yeah.
you see the
Fuck yeah.
shadow coming, and you kind of like stiffen up. You go, "What the fuck?" And coming
Yeah.
around the corner is the biggest frog you've ever fucking seen in your life. This
No,
thing is every bit of
no.
8.5 feet tall.
Oh
It is
no.
it's about three quarters as wide of the hallway, and you see its jaw open, and you just hear this croak, and you look, and there have to be millions of insects inside of its open mouth,
I take
crawling
the
around,
fuck
flying
off.
around. You
Run
do
away.
you what do you do with the frogs?
I leave them there and I run away from this thing. And I'm probably going,
You
oh no, as I'm running away. That's really upsetting.
you leave you leave through the hallway, right? Like you like take off, right? You pass up, two or three classrooms, you get to a stairwell, and you just start descending,
Yeah.
you know. You hear just the wet thwack of amphibian on tile, you know.
He's following me.
You can feel it as it's jumping along the hallway that you were just in.
Uh-huh.
It's clearly like leaping, like the ceiling rattles above you when it lands.
Oh man.
Bro, you feel the whole, it almost like it shoots it down the stairwell.
Ah,
This
jeez.
croak just sort of like runs the stairwell, and the force of it almost knocks you onto your hands and knees. You scamper up, you go to leave the building, and the door's locked, it's chained shut from the inside. You hear just a real loud whack, and you turn around, and the giant frog is standing there, like at the top of the stairwell, and he's just like breathing heavy.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I guess I do the thing you're supposed to do with bears where I try to make myself as big as possible and I just scream at them.
You like step forward, you make yourself as big as possible, and you just
A
scream.
wordless scream. Yeah.
You just scream a wordless scream. If it did have a word, it would be synonymous with fear, because that's what's coursing through your veins right now. You look up, you see the giant maw of the huge frog open, just millions of bugs crawling around inside.
Oh
And
man,
then
yeah.
a huge tongue just leaps out at you. It wraps you up and pulls you into the jaw, and the bugs inside eat you alive, and the
What?
frog swallows your bones. Yeah. The bugs
Holy shit.
the bugs feast on your corpse right away. You're stuck immobilized, and you're just bitten to death by 1.5 million bugs, just little tiny things with pincers and claws. And
Ah.
it probably takes like 7 to 10 minutes, and is incredibly
Oh.
painful. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. And then once all of your blood and guts and bones, not the bones, once everything else is gone, even your
Mhm.
clothes, the frog said, "I love the bones," and then he eats your fucking bones.
Oh.
He eats your bones.
Why did any of that happen?
Is you were trying to get with Miss Carlos. She comes
Yeah.
back from the bathroom,
Mhm.
and she has like a couple buttons unbuttoned, and you see like a little negligee.
Oh my God.
And she just kind of like waits there in a sexy pose for like 10 minutes, and you just never come, and you also never come home. So your loveless wife like reunites with her daughter,
Yeah.
and they immediately have like an incredible connection that surpassed the one that you two have. And 6 months from now, there's a day that goes by that she doesn't think about you one time, not even once. Do you cross her
Hold
mind?
on. 6 months?
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Oh man. Oh,
You're dead on the other side of the chalkboard.
God damn it.
I
Why was there a frog there?
don't know.
God damn it. Well, I mean, at least she reunited with her mom, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's good.
Yeah, doesn't even think about you.
Well, that's fine. I'm dead. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you are.